Okay, so today a letter to is a letter with a difference because it's more like a letter to what I see. It's a letter to what I see in front of me, and that's Thomas Markle Jr., a brother and a son who's been placed under a narrative so loud that he's placed out on a shelf on full display, even though everyone else has a right to have their say. So here goes. A letter with a difference, for I'm going to try and strip back the layers and narrative placed out on the shelf in front of our eyes and share the heartbreaking realities, for what I see is a man and family under attack. I see a man being spoken about like his feelings don't count, but what makes him different to the rest? The morning shows of the presenters and the rest speak out in detest on him and them. Day after day, a constant feed to quell the people's needs. I see a man no different to South Park or Family Guy who try and make people laugh. I see a man who feels it deeper than the rest, for he watched her grow up, maybe not every day, but he held her whilst young. He spent days and nights alongside a sister, even if half. They still would have had and shared laughs. I see a man who was maybe shocked and proud when his sister met a prince who probably thought, way to go, Meg, who never in his wildest dreams would have thought of the nightmare that were to be placed in front of his and our screens. As the media locked eyes on his dad, the man who gave her his all, I see a man who sat with his dad whilst laying in a hospital bed, watching another man give her away instead, unable to speak and feeling weak, yet he did not watch her come and speak, yet blame him for perfectly constructed letters that were leaked. I see a brother who has watched his other sister have to take a battle against the other for justice, for rights, for them all. For they now speak on them in a way in which she narrated on our screen whilst taking money to do so. To watch the battle she is already facing as her body was aching, her MS, leaving her feeling depleted, and the money and name her sister gained helping her case to become deflated. Nobody could ever understand what it is to be a part of this family right now, to watch this woman step out most days and listen to what the people have to say, to know you have held her as a baby and understand the real depths of your dad's pain and how much he really provided a stable in her name, to have once loved yet feel such burden and pain, a responsibility so great. I see a man who is spoken about in such snobbery, whose life, like all, was affected by this being tipped and flipped upside down, all for his sister marrying into a family that carries a crown. I see a man who creates a skit, a parody to express. Some may find it hard to digest, then turn away. It's one channel, it's a choice you can make. Maybe for his angle being so close to home, too real that he actually feels. I see a man in a wig, but I also watch a man and his wife speak so harsh whilst taking all they could and turning it in to their very own gig as they take over most channels every day, as everyone else has their say, a way in which the people can't look away as they take millions in fact, as we all watch on. I see a man in a moon bump, whilst also watching a woman with cancer being mocked over her chemotherapy pills. He sees that also. I see a man who relies on comedy to simply get through. He gets paid, but so do they. So strip it back further. I see a people, a person who has been placed into a narrative so great, who knows at this point, no matter what he says, it will return back to him in hate. For that's what his sister stepped out to create in order to send them away, as she berated and got paid. I see a man who probably wants to entertain to cope with the pain and the responsibility so great in the baby he once held, having caused so much pain and behaving in such a way to make people laugh in his own unique way, to break up this constant pain as he maybe feels at watching all around him hurt and suffer because of her. I see a man up against a wall of silence as a family can't have their say, for never complain and explain is their way, which is equally frustrating and painful to watch. But in this rare situation, two families are not speaking out, so balance can't be had. Who knows what the other family would say if able to? But then here is the thing. If the other family wasn't the royal family, I would not be writing this letter today, for she and he would never have reason to have their say or cash in. Thomas Markle Jr. would not find himself in this place. His life would be ticking over in a nice place. He would not be exposed to all this hate and feel the need to compensate, to bring laughter to the people that support him. For the rest, berate him. I see in him a people, a person, a brother and a son who's dealing with it in a way he never planned or asked to be given. I see a man who is being spoken on so harshly, for the social divide speaks so loudly. For it's okay for all the royal presenters to speak on them. It's okay for news reporters to bash them. It's okay for the royal family to hurt. And it's okay for us to laugh at South Park and Family Guy and the memes that are out there in place. But Thomas Markle Jr. sits in a place that could quite frankly visually support Samantha's court case. As you know, I speak to this only my thoughts and feelings and opinions. I speak as a person and a people, a non-expert, and I am not a journalist, but I see in front of me a brother and a son who's been placed into a life that we would never wish to be given. And as a people, I stand by him, for like the rest, he's entitled to have his say. For when he does in his own way, I also see his pain.